Alright, YouTube, it's time for Occult Literature video number 88, the Seaside Sybil, The Leaves of Destiny. Another Oracle work, fairly short, 28 pages, but it's definitely worth a read, especially for some of the weird vintage ads that it contains. Late 1800s, 1882, I believe, if I remember correctly. As always, link in the description to where you can purchase my edition of this work off Amazon. I don't think there's any competing edition of this specific work because, you know, it's shorter, it's an oracle work. Sometimes they get overlooked by the actual occultists. I don't think they should be, but, you know, some people think it's fluff or something like that. Second link to my books blog. If you're interested in oracle work specifically, the hieroglyphical fortune tellers there. I'm working on the Mystic Oracle. I'm working on the Witch's Dream book, along with half a dozen other works at the moment. Just got done with the book of Hindu astrology and uploaded the files this morning. A good work, although it has nothing to do with Hinduism, let's face it. This work, the Seaside Sybil, is a simplified oracle. It's like the early 20th century version of the oraculum, as opposed to Napoleon's oraculum from the middle of the 1800s. It has not just the oraculum itself, the actual oracle system that's used, involving a truncated version of the constellations from the philosophical Merlin, essentially. It combines that with fortune-telling via dominoes, dice, things of that nature, a very cursory overview of dream interpretation, although longer than some, or Mrs. Bridget's fortune teller, which involves as well palmistry and essentially craniology after a fashion. This work truncates the basic idea of slips of paper being numbered and then drawn at random, which is found in most of the 1800s oracle tradition. And it turns that into its own separate, complete oracle system. You have cards numbered 1 through 100. You put them in a hat, you put them face down on a table, whatever the case may be, then you draw one and it tells you your fortune for the year. Mostly it revolves around relationships and a little bit on health and money. These oracle traditions, that's really what they tend to revolve around. They can also revolve around general aptitude. Are you going to live or die? Will the child live or die? Some of the questions are a little bit on the morbid side. But depending on the oracle, they go into different degrees of detail. This one is in verse as well, so it's kind of a rhyming scheme with these 100 different fortunes that can actually be told via the Leaves of Destiny under the Seaside Sybil. But I think if you're not interested in the occult side, I am. That's the only reason I edited this work. I also decided to include pictures of some of the ads from the original hand guide. Now, this is New York Americana. It speaks explicitly things like Coney Island and Rocktail Beach and all these other things. These locations in and around New York City as well, Saratoga and some of these others. It's very telling. It's sort of it's also a little bit eugenic tainted or early pre-eugenic tainted material. For instance, one of the ads in this work is for Wells Health Renewer, I believe it is. It's like quack medicine. I'm interested in that too, which is another reason to edit this work. But it also talks about rat poison. I can't remember the name of the specific poison involved. One of these ads is a Chinese caricature with the long ponytail and the rice hunting hat and everything else, actually proceeding to eat the rat poison with the banner saying, "They must go." Now, it's not entirely clear whether it's talking about the rats you're going to be killing with the rat poison, or whether it's a slap at the immigrant community of Asian individuals, let's say, in New York at the time. And this is extended, it speaks much the same of females, of cuckoldry. That's common in some of these things. It has some baseball jabs in there, some weird stories about Catholicism, a few thinly veiled jokes about Irish people. It's a period piece from this sort of 1880s era of time. So it's very interesting from a historical perspective. There are people who are really interested in old vintage ads. Now, I included them in perhaps a slightly lower quality than full quality. I didn't want to go through and process all of the ads from this work because there were quite a few. So I tried to put them together in a legible format that would nonetheless be good. You can find, by the way, the Seaside Sybil. It is a public domain work. You can get a scan of the original handbook for free. But if you'd like a physical copy that's, I guess, in a considerably better format, much more legible overall, and a physical copy. My edition appears to be the only one that's actually available. But these old vintage ads in there are very, very strange. They got like cats gathered around the rat poison saying, "Oh, we're out of a job now," and all of these weird little joke stories. It's very, very strange. But the Oracle system itself is shorter. It's a truncated version of the same basic concept that I believe was in the 1860 Universal Fortune Teller. I may be wrong about that. It could have been Mrs. Bridget's late 1700s fortune teller. Sometimes it's difficult. You get them mixed up, honestly, sometimes, because these traditions can be roughly similar. I've obtained a half a dozen new Oracle works as well. I'm going to be releasing them all over time. But I wanted to get this one, the shortest, out along with the Hindu Book of Astrology. Then I'll probably go on to a couple more diabolical works, honestly. Back to alchemy for a while. There are a few more works of alchemy I want to release before the end of the year. And then I'll probably go back and do the rest of the oracles before I get to anything else that doesn't involve my own personal writing. So again, if you're interested in the oracle works, if you're interested in fortune-telling Americana in general, link in the description to my edition on Amazon, apparently, again, the only one that's there. Second link to my books blog. There are 8 categories of material there for you to peruse. You like demonology, you want black magic, you want folk art, something like that, it's all literally there. That's about all. Peace out.